Jose Lantigua was considered the furniture king of Jacksonville, Florida, but he was about to lose his crown.
He looked amazing and treated me like I was a princess.
Daphne's Prince Charming was dying, he said, from mad cow disease.
He explained that it was a brain disease and that there was no cure for it, nothing he could be done, and that he had maybe 6 months to live.
But Jose's twisted tale of having mad cow had just one fatal flaw. It was all a load of bull. Daphne tells me Jose lied about his fatal disease for the wildest of reasons. Jose told her his past as a CIA special ops agent south of the border was dangerously haunting him. He claimed a Mexican drug cartel ordered a revenge hit, and he needed to protect the family.
I was terrified, but I didn't want my children's lives to be in danger, and I believed him because, one, why would you lie about something like that to your wife?
But as you're about to see, they were all tall tales. Daphne says she had no idea her husband was in debt up to his lying eyeballs. His seemingly successful Circle K furniture chain had been in the red for years.
Do you believe that at one point in his life he really was successful and had a lot of money?
I don't know. Again,
That could be a lie too.
right. I don't know everything he told me, I don't know what's true anymore.
It seems Jose owed the banks millions of dollars after taking out loans he couldn't repay. Instead of filing for bankruptcy, Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Devereaux says Jose concocted an elaborate plan to rake in over $8 million in life insurance payouts.
He thinks everything's gonna be better, just like the gambler. I'll win the next hand, but it doesn't.
And in order to get the insurance companies to cough up the cash, Jose had to fake his own death. So he closed up shop and told his family he was going to Venezuela for treatment, but he needed Daphne's help to pull off the plan.
He needed a conspirator, a co-conspirator, and it ended up being his wife. But he knew his wife, and he knew that if he told her the truth, she wouldn't have jumped on board, so he tricked her. We've all heard there's no honor amongst thieves. Here, he had no honor, and he was very cruel in what he told his wife.
To convince Daphne to help him, Lantigua whipped up a tale of death so outlandish it could be ripped from the pages of a spy novel.
Antigua tells his wife, Daphne, my background is catching up on me. As I told you, I was a Special Forces operations officer that actually took out and assassinated a cartel leader in South America. I was the team leader, and I need to fake my death now, otherwise my life is at risk, and your life, and your family as well.
Meanwhile, Lantigua had Daphne's kids hoodwinked into believing he was going to Venezuela for experimental treatment for mad cow disease. The crafty con man even wrote a personal letter to his kids preparing for his imminent death.
He had left a letter in his personal effects for me to share with the family, stating that he didn't want to pass away in front of his family. He wanted to be alone so they would remember him as he was, when he was still healthy.
And wouldn't you know it, months after disappearing deep in the jungles of South America, Lantigua drops dead, or so he said.
At any point, are there any red flags going off?
Oh yeah, the whole time. I mean, when you don't see a body and then they just disappear, it's weird, to just disappear and then die in a foreign country.
But Lantigua moved pretty well for a dead guy.
While in Venezuela, he ends up purchasing death certificate, has a doctor sign. He ends up also purchasing a certificate of cremation.
Daphne is instructed to tell her kids that she's flying to Venezuela to collect his ashes. She boards the plane loaded with about $20,000 in cash.
What was that money for?
He had told me it was to get the records that they needed to show that he was dead.
The couple goes to the U.S. Embassy in Venezuela to get a certificate of death, a document Daphne will need to get the $8 million in insurance.
He's outside the embassy waiting for you. You're inside the American embassy in Venezuela with his death certificate, trying to get it approved.
Yeah.
Wow, that really takes a lot to pull off.
Everything he did takes a lot. I don't know how you can do what he did and wake up every morning not hating yourself.
At this point, Daphne claims she's just protecting the family and has no idea about her husband's plan to rip off the insurance companies.
Lantigua tells Daphne, Daphne, you have to do this. If you don't go through everything, it's going to be clear to the cartel that I'm not dead.
But back in Jacksonville, as the children are processing their stepdad's death, Daphne had become a pawn in her husband's wicked game.
You come back with a death certificate, you come back with a box of something that could be dirt, but everyone's supposed to believe it's your husband's remains. And what do? Do you have a funeral?
No, his son did a memorial service.
He ends up having his wife do all the things that a grieving widow would do, and it's all a sham.
And shortly after the memorial service, Lantigua miraculously rose from the dead, telling Daphne to hire a lawyer to start the insurance claims on 7, that's right, 7 policies.
How many times do you have a situation where a person is so bold to use a federal court, a presidentially appointed judge, to basically unknowingly assist them in their fraud for $8 million? That takes some guts. Or stupidity.
Stupid would be an understatement. Up next, something was rotten in Venezuela.
That's why I call it dead man walking, because if he's walking, he ain't dead.
And it wasn't the decomposing body of Jose Lantigua.